Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. Sounds like he wants to go to Las Vegas or he's been to Las Vegas, but it doesn't sound like he's going anywhere anytime soon because California is experiencing some pretty horrible weather. Yes, he says he's got flooding going on in the neighborhood. So, yeah, we might have to go send him an ark or something. But anyway, the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you. Hello, welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also to my wonderful moderators for all that you do in holding down the comment section. I would not and could not do this without you. So today we're going to have a very loaded conversation. It seems like, these last couple of Sundays, we've been going about 2 hours or so. I don't know. I guess we got a lot to talk about, right? It's almost like a recap of the week type of thing. But we're going to start off with talking about Black men supported the Democrats the most in a recent California election. And of course, I'm going to get into all of that, the how, the whys, and, of course, we're going to left field. We're going to go on the left field. I'm sure talk about all the things that have taken place within the political realm, and I guess everywhere else. Seems like MAGA is imploding before our very eyes, so we'll have that discussion as well. But in the meantime, who do we have? Darren's, how you doing? Mike, nice, much of an OG moderator. JJ Mars, another moderator. Thank you so much. And Geechee Dan Buford, I really love that name. Y'all got some really good names. I really do love. Brother Reggie, where have you been? Are you headed to work as we speak? See, there you go. Vanessa, how you doing? Arneva and Clifford. Donovan, what say you?
What say me? Welcome back to the Demetra K Show, you guys. We are live on Sundays. It's 3 p.m. here. So if it's 3 p.m. here in California, that means it's time to tune into the Demetra K Show. We also thank you guys for tuning in with us. I know it's football Sunday. You guys could be watching and doing a lot of different things, but you decided to come over here and share your time with us. So do not think we do not appreciate that. And as you guys know, we have the topics, but we learn just as much from you guys as you guys do from us. And I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. My cat is at the door. I locked him out. I even put him outside. He went around, came through the pet door, and he is back at the door. So I do apologize if T'Challa jumps up on the screen and wants to be seen and all that other stuff. But do us a favor, you guys. We have a scrolling banner at the bottom there. If you want to continue to have these great conversations and keep the content creator motivated, there's ways you can do that. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Cash, money order, however you guys want to do it. Anything that you guys do is greatly appreciated. And for those of you guys that have donated in the past and continue to donate today, longtime listeners and all that great stuff, we greatly appreciate that. Also, do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. Within that app, Black owned, within that app, you have the Emancipation Channel, and you also have various content creators that are coming up with original content. And so if you want to know what's going on around the world in the African diaspora, a Black-owned app, African Diaspora News Channel app, exists. And it's a great gift as we're going into Christmas, as we're going into the next year of graduation, college, high school. It is a great way to help continue to keep our people educated about what's going on in the African diaspora. How many of you guys know Jessica Jackson recently at a Chicago City Council meeting? And how many times have I told you guys, show up to those city council meetings? That's where it all starts. If you want to learn how government works, grassroots, where you're at, city council meetings. Jessica Jackson let the mayor of Chicago have it once again, bringing up how this Black man is not standing up for Black people or Black women, as allegedly homes are being stolen by the city government municipalities right from under Black people, and yet he will stand for immigrants but won't stand for Black people. How do I know these things? Because I have the African Diaspora News Channel app, and I keep watching what is going on around the globe in the United States with what's happening to us. And that's the best, to me, that's the best way you can do it. I want to say hi, hey to Sunlight. I will be on my best behavior today. By the way, Demetra, Sunlight is still moonlighting on Sabby Sab's show. I still see her in the comments on the Sabby Sab show, but I don't want to dime her out like that. So you guys, thank you guys again. And again, African Diaspora News Channel app, get it on Google Play, Apple Store. The original content is there. And again, if we can get 10 people there, the best thing to do is lifetime membership. But if we can get 10 people a show, maybe 4 people a show, it doesn't matter. Great gifts, get it out there, because you're going to see things that you're not going to see on your YouTube algorithm. So again, African Diaspora News Channel app. So let's get into this topic, because it has to do with my state, our state, Demetra, and the no good black man, and how we ain't getting in line, we ain't getting behind the black woman, and all this other stuff. Like you just said in the topic of this conversation, more black men voted in this last election here in California in regards to redistricting.
Wow. Okay. So yes, y'all out there in Southern California, please be safe. It is raining a lot. I know a lot of cancellations took place. They said that I think the evacuations may have been lifted, or maybe they put them back on, where there are certain areas in California that had, the fires and things. So of course, with fires, it burned out a lot of brush and things, and then it creates mudslides with the rain. So there's a lot of that going on. But yeah, y'all be safe. It's supposed to be lifting tonight. California, it never rains in Southern California, huh? Well, I guess it's been proven not to be true, especially within the last couple of years. I'm here in Houston, and we hardly get any rain, it seems like, anymore, right? I mean, they even called hurricane season off early, which, hey, I'm not complaining, right? So, but yeah, it's a drought and everything where I am. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into it. And Brother James, just to have a video in regards to Mayor Brandon Johnson. It will be on the African Diaspora News Channel on Friday coming up. So you just stay tuned. I think you'll love it. Anyway, as you guys may or may not know, a couple of weeks ago, we had some elections all over the country. It wasn't really midterms, or just kind of elections that are going on. Whether it was a governor's race, a mayor race like that of NYC with Zoran Mondani, has now, he's a mayor-elect there in New York City. Of course, you go to California, there was what they have called a Proposition 50, which is in regards to the congressional map being redistricted, right? Now, of course, that came out due to the fallout from what happened in Texas under Greg Abbott, where he was told by Trump that, hey, we need to go and get some of those Democrat seats, right, and swing them Republican, because it is said that they do not want to risk losing in 2026, they being Republicans. So let's go ahead and get some seats. So Gavin Newsom, along with the legislators there in California, said, okay, bet. So they're going to do it in Texas. They want to take 5 seats. We'll put it to a vote for the people to decide if we're going to pass Proposition 50 again, to redraw the congressional map. To take 5 Republican seats, and it did pass overwhelmingly into the upper 50%, close to 60%. People said yes, they would like to do that. Now, of course, we know that if you think on a national election, especially that of last year, Kamala Harris, she got less of the, we're talking about black votes now, less of the black votes than that of Joe Biden. Said that she got like 7% less, I think it is, than Joe Biden did, especially in California. And so I guess black men felt a different way about Proposition 50 because, in fact, they did vote the most. Now, I saw Assemblyman Isaac Bryan. Y'all know that joker. I'm going to show y'all a picture of him in just a second. And he's actually on the thumbnail. He actually was celebrating that black men decided to vote for Proposition 50 more than anybody else. And this is what he said on his Instagram. So if you can see there, there is a photo of him, and he says, wait until Trump finds out the most consistent voting bloc for Proposition 50 were black men. So as you can see there, let's see. Did I put, okay, no, I thought I put up there. Okay, so listen, by gender by race. Okay, so you go down and see black men, 91%. Now, the black woman wasn't that far behind him, only to the tune of about 3% or so. And everybody else, you know, Latinos, again, we talked about this last week. Latino, the men, 63%. You would think that they would show up even more so than the black man. Again, we had this conversation a couple of days ago, but they didn't. Latino men, 63%. Latino women, 75%. And I can't see all others because unfortunately I blocked it out. And white men, 54%. And that's consistent with them, right? White women, 59%. So as you can see, most of the Californians who voted said, yes, we want to pass Proposition 50 again, to be in juxtaposition to that of Texas that took 5 Democratic seats. And so with that passing, it basically says, okay, well, we're just going to balance it out. So Trump won't get a net gain of those seats. But when I see Isaac Bryan, and I actually did a video on this, it'll be on the African Diaspora News channel tomorrow. I'll go in a tiny bit more detail. I don't know if I do or don't. But nevertheless, Isaac Bryan, of course, y'all know he is the sucker that is a part of the California Legislative Black Caucus there. And he was the one infamously seen with his arms crossed as he was caught by that then Assemblyman Bill Esseley. He now works for the Trump administration, but he heard a lot of Black people in the vestibule there at the Capitol as they were deciding whether they will vote on the reparations bill, specifically that of a Freedmen's Bureau and the money. So he went outside. Bill was like, what y'all doing out here? And they said, we're waiting to see if, the reparations bills are going to pass. And he was like, they not even talking about it at all. In fact, it's not even on the floor for a vote. So, of course, y'all know he went in there and he was like, hey, Isaac, homie, you got all these you and the, California Legislative Black Caucus got all these Black Californians out there waiting to see if y'all going to do something with these reparations bill, and they not even on the floor. So I guess Isaac tried to step to him like, man, back off, mind your business. Of course, y'all saw the footage of that because Bill Esseley decided to record it. And that's where we saw Isaac Bryan crossing his arms like, what you going to do about it? And the rest is history. So again, as I see Isaac Bryan celebrating with the, Black men out there in California, I guess, I'm like, all right, Proposition 50 passes. Who is that actually going to help? Is it going to help the majority of Black voters, men, 91% of them? Is it going to help them, or is it going to help the Latino, population more so than them? Well, we know the answer to that. But when I see Isaac Bryan, he just rubbed me the wrong way. And when I look at him, when I think, I just rubbed me the wrong way. But it's like, you are a Black man. You didn't want to help Black men, but yet you're there celebrating because Black men showed up to vote for Proposition 50 more than anybody else. And the Black man there in California will be helped less than anybody else in this whole little equation here that you see. The Black man will be helped less. He just will be helped less. We also know Black Californians are the most, in the United States, but the most homeless population there. And that's it is more so Black men than anybody, but celebrating Proposition 50 that will give Democrats more power to help more illegal immigrants. See, he needs to be called out every time he does something like this. So I want to see what y'all got to say. And Donovan, what say you? You're a Black man in California, and I want to ask you this. Why? Why do you think that Black men to the tune of 91%, more than anybody, would show up to vote for that?
I got an answer for you. 91% of Black men in California do not understand politics or read and really attend city council meetings to understand what they're voting for. It just sounds good. It's performative. Like I've been telling you guys, I asked a person, why do you love Jasmine Crockett? Ooh, I love her because she's spicy. Huh? You love Jasmine Crockett because she can say spicy things, but do you know Jasmine Crockett doesn't do anything for Black people? So the fear mongering that goes on against Black people is a long sought after weapon the Democratic Party uses, right? Because here's what they don't understand. See, if they had read the bill and understood what this thing does, it gives the power away from the citizen here in California, because what was happening was here in California, the politicians were gerrymandering their own districts so that they can't be kicked out of office or voted out of office. They were gerrymandering their own districts. So about 20 or 30 years ago, a referendum went out and basically took that power away from the politician and gave it to a citizens board. So now the districts in California are being drawn by citizens. What this bill does, it gives that power back to the politician. And as we know, when a politician benefits from something, it never goes away. There is on this bill, there is a sunset thing where it's supposed to revert back. But how many of you guys think that that's actually going to happen? So what I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to be, negative toward my own kind or anything like that, but the fact of the matter is, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in writing, put it in a book, put it in a magazine, unless it's got pictures. We do not read or have comprehension to understand what is being alleged. If most people understood what that bill did, who's going to benefit? They're definitely not going to benefit. This is for the benefit of the politician. So how am I as a black man here in California going to benefit from Corey POS Jackson gerrymandering his own district? I'm going to have more years of this idiot doing for the illegals and other people other than black people. That's what this bill did. And most these black folks, black men, did not understand that. And those are just the facts. And with less than 5% of black people all in California that have been pushed out of California, what I don't understand, Demetra, Democratic policy, and I want our friends and co-hosts to understand this. California is the blueprint of the Democratic policy toward black people. If they could get rid of almost 14% of the black population in California in less than 30 years, what the hell you guys think is going to happen when Democratic policy gets to your town? And some of you guys are seeing that right now. You're being gentrified and moved out right now. When the illegals came in, the Democratic Party put them where? In your neighborhood. He didn't put them in the white neighborhood. They didn't put them in the Hispanic neighborhood. They didn't put them in the Armenian neighborhood. They put them in the black neighborhood. Because we do not read, we do not comprehend. Long as it sounds good, ooh, I hate Trump so much, I hate this person so much, I'm just going to vote for it. And that's what the hell has happened.
Absolutely. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Says good evening, people. He says, Miss Demetra, I'll be going on a field trip to Charleston to visit the old slave mart building. Will you be able to drop a link so I can show y'all when I'm there? Yeah, let me know when you're going, and I think we could probably work that out. If at the very least, maybe send me a video or some photos or something like that, and I'd love to show them. I would love to go there myself one day. As my ancestors are from South Carolina. And I say my ancestors, I trace my oldest ancestor to the 1700s from there. So, yes. I want to address something too. Let's see. Go back to this. 1 second. And hello to everybody. I am going to get to everybody's comment, but I want to go back. Where did it go? Black Rose, you're saying black immigrants do not support FBA. That one, but it wasn't that one. It was this. Okay, here you go. Are these FBA voting or just black faces? What difference does it make of who it is? I mean, because when we no disrespect to you at all, but I think when we ask that question, it almost implies that there's no way in the world FBA's Foundation of Black Americans would ever vote for something like that. But the truth of the matter is, before black immigrants really became a thing here, FBAs were for a whole lot of stuff that have us where we are today, all the way to, from the civil rights movement and all of that. So I think when we kind of try to put it in context, now I get that non-black Americans, they, vote for things that are not conducive to us as black Americans. But when we try to, shave it all the way down to the bone like that, and implies that FBAs or black Americans are think enough to where they don't do things like that. And that's just absolutely not true. It was probably a conglomerate. And I'm from California, and there's not a large black population. I mean, a large immigrant black population in California like there is like here in Houston or anywhere else in the country. So I'm not even sure. But to try to, I don't know. So anyway, let's see, going downtown. Hey, Don't Believe Media, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. JJ says it will benefit illegals and Hispanics the most. Yeah. Corey, how you doing? Says, let me answer that. Latinos, yep, it will help them. Natalie, what's going on with you? Say facts. And Kimmy, you asked the same thing. Says, was it FBA or black immigrant men? It was probably both. Trust me. You know what I mean? I've been black American for 54 years, and I've seen black American or FBA men, as y'all like to say, make some pretty questionable decisions, whether it's politics or whatever it is. So I hear what y'all saying, and listen, I think Black Americans such as myself and Donovan, we are very dope and dynamic. But to say that we operate above board, look at our communities, because there's not all Black immigrants in our communities. I'm just saying. Wendell, how you doing? What? Because Isaac Gonzalez is crazy. It's damn. Wait, Donovan. Isaac Gomez Gonzalez. Caden gave this man a whole new name. Is not a Black American man. His wife is not Black. His mama is not Black. Nah, he's Latino. Well, he's adopted. So his adopted mama is white. I don't even know if he knows exactly who he is, but it sounds like, yes, he was raised by a white woman, but you wilded with the name. Sister Shirley, how you doing? Said, this is my understanding that a lot of people are leaving California. Yeah, don't have no choice. It's hard to live in California, you know?
Hey, Elena Smith, your sister-in-law says, your niece said hi.
Tell my baby I said hello. I love her, and I'm thinking about her. Let's see. King Shaw says, but I thought Black folks were a small percentage of people in California. How is it 90% of votes from well, that's a good question, right?
I think what they're saying is 90% of the Black men who voted.
Correct.
Right. Who voted. So you could have like 5% of us. 90% of that 5% of us voted.
Come on with the numbers. Come on. Well, this is a mechanic right here amongst a pilot and a whole lot of things. So this Negro have to know how to count, okay, and break it down to the brokest of broke stidity. Christopher, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Timothy, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Says Black folks in America, we have a gene defect. We got something. Brother James says, yes, he does need to be called out, and he needs to be put on Front Street. And again, Elijah Muhammad said that 90% of our people don't know what they are casting their ballots for. He said it 50 years ago. Yes, indeed. And I listened to the webcast today by student minister, Brother Ishmael Muhammad. And I'm telling you, your girl took a whole lot of notes. I got a lot of content for next week. Yes, I do. I mean, it's kind of funny because we talked about the same thing, redistributing the pain. And I talked about that on the African Diaspora News channel a couple of days ago in regards to the boycott and what Martin Luther King Jr. said in regards to redistributing the pain. And his message was the same thing. So I hijacked some notes from him. So yes, let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Going on down. Ricardo, did I say hello to you? Not hello. I think you say you live in Chino, right? So I don't live in California. I understand politics and voted the goddamn couch. I did nothing to help the Democrats, so don't speak for me. So you was in that 9%. Is that what you're saying? You was in the 9%? Black Rose says, Isaac is not FBA. How do you know? How do you know it's not FBA? I don't even think he really knows, right? He may or he may not be. His mama adopted him. His white mama.
Right, he's adopted, so he doesn't know his history.
Yeah. So, I mean, so how are we coming to this conclusion? Because the truth of the matter is there's a lot of FBA. Come on, we're going to have to stop. Like, we're going to have to really start thinking here. Because there's a lot of FBA men, foundational Black American men that have made horrible decisions and that are in higher offices. Y'all like my sweat rings? It is in politics that have done Black Americans no earthly good. So yes, I know that non-Black American people in offices, they have meant us no earthly good, but we cannot gloss over the people who say they like us, who have done nothing for us too. I'm going to keep pushing back on that narrative because, like I said, it implies that, well, Black Americans, we always do the right thing, and that's a damn lie. We don't, right? Even to the way we voted, to where the Black immigrant per se can now, come in and get all these positions in the United States because of the way we've been voting. We being Black Americans, FBA, however you want to say it. So I think we really got to stop and think sometimes. I think maybe that's just me. Kimmy says people love voting to be oppressed. Yeah, because we're told it's not actually oppression, right? We just gotta vote blue no matter who and all that. Vanessa, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says I tried to tell people who were voting yes on Proposition 50 that this ran parallel to the 2022 City Council scandal, giving power to the politicians. So you talking about the one with the LA City Council with the Yuri Martinez and all of them? Is that the scandal you're talking about? You don't mind me asking? Brother Don, my triple OG moderator, hope you're doing well. And Buckhorse, how you doing? Let's see. Let me skip down just a little bit. Big Steve, how you doing? Says black men still voting blue in California. 91% of the voters who did. Right? That's almost all. Almost.
Right. And if you guys got to ask yourself this, you guys. If there's less than 6% of black people left in California, who are those 6% of black people? Boule, the people that have the good jobs and the money, right? Most likely, in most situations, I'm not one of them, but in most likely, a lot of those people are the people that can still afford to live here, be it they have businesses or, you know, whatever they're doing, they can afford to stay here. Though they're voting, their Democratic taskmasters tell them how to vote. So you really got to think of the aspect of California being a Democratic stronghold. This is the blueprint. This is showing you what is going to happen. So all of y'all folks that have the Boule, Grambling and the HBCUs, I'm not against the HBCUs, but what I'm saying is these prevalent black folks, I will ask you to go engage them in political thought, and you will be surprised that most of them are vote blue no matter who.
The Quan for Life, how you doing? He says black men came out strong, least we forget August 31st, 2024. That's when they pretended like they was going to do something. So the real question is, why weren't you there? This current situation was staged and paid for by the California Legislative Black Caucus and groups who have Boule ties straight up. So when you said what was staged exactly, you talking about the people that were out there. I wasn't out there because I don't live in California anymore right now at this moment. But no, I wasn't there because of that. But when you say it was staged, who were the performers, if you don't mind me asking? But yeah, I believe there was obviously some technology going on there. It had to have been. You have a study for 4 years saying that y'all was going to go be taking these votes to the floors, and then they didn't make it to the floor. So to me, it sounds like it was some backroom deals already made, right? Of course, they said, "Oh, well, it's a multi-year study." It's like, well, what was you already doing? So yeah. Let's see. Who else haven't seen? African Native, how you doing? Yes, that's some good math. Donovan, yeah, he does good math. Me, I'm surprised that I graduated high school and college because I needed those math courses, but that was God Almighty, and they're taking classes for me.
Well, Dimitri, I got out of Norte Vista with business math. I was really bad and here's a lot of you guys that are Generation Xers. This is why a lot of us are really bad at math. I know we're going off topic real quick, but you guys got to understand this. We are really bad at math because, remember, a lot of us grew up on flashcards. We can tell you the answer. We just can't show you how we got to the answer because it was all about memorization. So when you get to algebra, and if that's how you were raised on flashcards like most of us were, you cannot break down an algebraic equation. And that was our biggest problem. And they identified that, our generation. That is where most of us have our problems because we were raised on the flashcard memorization.
My whole family, when I say my whole, I exclude myself, can do math. Math geniuses. My sister is in the comment section. My other sister, who is a math teacher. Both of my brothers, mathematical geniuses. All the nieces and nephews, mathematical geniuses. Me, I just know how to count my money. Okay, I'm telling you, the ABCs and the apples and the oranges, and you put all the bananas together. That's mind blowing to me. King Shaw says, this is why we need a census count for FBA people. It's only it's more of us than what they say we are, over 14% of the population. Yeah, like I said, I've done the census before. I worked in the census for a few years, and I've seen how people identify themselves and all of that. So somebody might be black, and they might say, well, ain't that black? Whatever it is. I couldn't tell them that they weren't, so I have to log the information, right? So it is, how do you know if people ain't willing to even tell the truth, So yeah, Kimmy says we got a lot of black pretending out there. Yeah, I would say so. A lot of imposters. Don't believe media says stop Stop having smoke towards one another. We have so many others against us. Keep your emotions intact and focus on coming together with a plan. I totally agree with you. I cannot emphasize what you said enough. You know, King Shaw, I don't know what Isaac is. Like I said, doesn't sound like he really knows whether he is or not. But again, when y'all say other people are not Black American, again, the implication, and it's implied, right, that FBAs would never do any of those things. And it's like, well, FBA's been doing that. They have, you know. Somebody brought up the NAACP. Now, I know it was formed with white people at the helm of it, but what were they? Where were those Black people? I would venture to say they were FBA, Black Americans. So what was they doing? I don't know, you know. So I know mostly Black Americans, and sometimes they do questionable things. I'm trying, Diane. Let's see. JJ says homegrown FBAs are a big problem in politics. Yeah, they get a little bag, right? Donovan, we know that to be what? The little white envelope. They get a, how much? How much will it take for you to put on the little tap shoes and ting, 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 tap around and pretend? Because Donovan, you know that we talk about it all the time. I did on the African Diaspora News Channel, the Big Six. The Big Six, Donovan, they were all Black Americans. They were all FBA. Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, all of them.
Whitney Ralph Bunch of Urban League, or Ralph Bunch. How many of you guys have heard of him? He was the Urban League president for a long time. He was one of the guys got the money.
They were FBAs, and they was getting the white envelope to pretend to Black people that we was going to get justice. We're gonna go and we're gonna shut it down. You know what we got? We got the March on Washington, where we shall overcome. And, you know, we go back and peacefully, we protest, and we don't, you know, you might get a little milkshake thrown on you, whatever, but you don't go really disrupt America, right? Those were FBA. So I'm just like, when we talking, we need to tell the whole truth.
Yeah. Well, what movie really depicted that scenario that you just talked about, Demetra? It's a very funny movie, Keenan Ivory Wayans. I'm going to get you sucker. Remember? I thought the African thing was 10,000 strong. We were. But then we were going to march right down there on Whitey. But they were hiring for government jobs that day. Whitey is a mother. That's a true example of what happens to us when it comes to dealing with that stuff. And again, right here on the local level, Demetra, tell me if I'm lying or not. We have a developer here. I had met with the developer. Demetra and I both met with the developer. And this guy he's still the king of the city right now. He took me to the side and he had said, Donovan, how much would it take for you to advocate and, really get behind this project? I told him straight up, $5 million. I will sell my family name for $5 million. That's what I told him. And he said, no, be serious. I said, no, I am serious. Because most Negroes around in my community will take the 10,000. Demetra, how many pastors were taking money from this developer that I called out and I had the IRS take a look at what was going on? This is what goes on. The white envelope, for you guys that don't understand it, it's real. Go to your city council meetings, go to your planning commissions. You will see how these developers get down and how they buy people. Fish fries on Saturday nights. All kinds of stuff goes down in politics. If you want to make some money, get into politics.
Absolutely. And Kimmy says, it's a lot of mix. I was looking crazy because the power had glitched, but I got my little backup right here. So it says it's a lot of mixed Black population in California. Are those people being classified as minorly Black? I wish the politics would stop flat blacking us. I mean, we all mix. You can listen. For me, Kimmy, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, and nor do I try to be, right? Some people say I'm quite dull. But if you are saying that you are a foundational Black American, foundational from what I understand. I don't classify myself as FBA. I classify myself as Black American, but from what I understand, you are FBA because your people go back in the gap, right? You have some ties to the plantation as a descendant, right? Okay, I'm assuming you said yes. So more than likely, if you are saying you are FBA, you are mixed as well, because we know that Massa was creeping up into the slave plantation in the shacks, making all those babies, and he's the original deadbeat daddy, if you ain't know that, okay? Making all those illegitimate children. Y'all can look at me. Now, I'm brown, right? But I don't know. Some tell me Massa was in my people's business. They didn't want him to be. So if you're telling me that you say, I don't know, you don't want to be flat black, I guess like mixing us all together. So if you're not mixed, and it's very possible that Massa just skipped over your people's shack, then that means you Mandingo. I don't know. I like we all probably got something in us that is not all the way black. So yes, there's a lot of mixed people in California. There's a lot of mixed people in Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, Chicago, New York. There's mixed black people everywhere. So that's another thing we got to stop doing. And I'm not, when I say we, I'm going to say me. I can't speak for everybody else. Is stop disqualifying people because they don't present black. Because I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to shut up because I was going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. Donovan, did you have anything to say? I was about to, I patted the bell when she was.
Well, the good thing, what I have to say about this, the good thing is slowly but surely, people are seeing the writing on the wall, and they're seeing that we are being marginalized no matter where you are in this country. Democratic policy toward Black people is to keep us at the bottom, and it is now to just basically obliterate us completely. I was watching Brandon Johnson in Chicago, the mayor of Chicago, and he was interviewing with a bunch of young Black men. And obviously, these young Black men were handpicked because they did no pushback. And I have to ask myself, and I wonder if you guys have asked yourself, why is it that these Democratic mayors and prosecutors and whatever, they crash out and they are willing to go to jail for people that won't even vote them into office? And yet, when we want a piece of bread, we got to get a study. They won't go nowhere near as much effort for us as they do for these other people. And by the way, I haven't seen Maxine Waters in a couple of months. Anybody seen her?
You know what I like to ask? Is she still with us? Sherry, how you doing? You say stop. They should have to show birth certificates. They should have to be able to prove if they are Black Americans, true Black Americans, or FBA. But now the Africans are saying they're Black. I mean, I don't know. I've always heard Africans say they were Black. Now are they Black American, FBA? No, but I've heard. That's why I like when I hear people say, oh, Africans, they don't say they're Black. Or then I've heard Africans say they're Black before. So maybe I just be in a different portal somewhere in the universe. I don't know. But you say they should have to prove that. Okay, let me ask you this, because I'll be all Huckleberry today. And Sister Sherry, I love you. So this is not toward you. Okay. No, I'm not going to do it because I thought 5 times and I'm not going to do it. But yeah, okay. Show their birth certificates and then what? I don't know. That's where I'm going to leave that one. It's just like the spirit just caught my throat. Like, don't you dare. African Native says, if Blacks cannot break algebra, he says, I will give them another chance. It is not easy to fight the white supremacists living among them and break algebra. He says, whites don't have any other challenge but study. Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined in every other way. Math was just not my strong suit. All the other subjects, right? But math, my brain just couldn't. I don't know. Like, I'm getting better now because I practice here and there, but my brain just could not wrap around math at all. Like, when we got to algebra, it's like, I just couldn't. I let my mama whoop me in the 7th grade because I got a bad grade in math and I still couldn't get it. I don't know how I passed them. I don't know. But yeah, I remember getting that whooping. Miss, I don't remember too many of my teachers, but Miss Burner. I remember Miss Burner. She looked like a Viking lady. She had big ball of red hair, white lady. She was raw. And she came the first day of class. She was like, you will do this and you will do that and you won't. And we're all. But she was like the nicest teacher. And I learned from her on day one, you got to set the tone. You don't set the tone on day one, it's going to be bananas after that. But yeah, I got to whoop it because of that class.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, because we don't know our history, come on, we're the people that built the pyramids. We're the people that built the pyramids, not only in Africa, the ones down in Peru and anywhere there's a pyramid, that's where we built that stuff. And it takes mathematics to do that. So that goes to show you, you could have all these subjects that you have. Physics, well, physics is part of mathematics, but you could have, geography, Latin, whatever. The only thing universal around the world is mathematics. Think about it. Even the local street pharmacist, he has to know mathematics, right? So that's the biggest thing. Even that spaceship that's going to be here in December, it took mathematics for it to get here. So once we learn, once we get back to what we are basically built on, mathematics, we will be a great people again.
I mean, mathematics come from us. Like you said, from us. Brother James says, Minister Louis Farrakhan said at the Million Man March, we've been voting for Black politicians and that didn't work. He said that over 30 years. Yeah. Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad today reiterated the same thing. And like I said, I took a whole bunch of notes because I got a whole lot of content. But yeah, absolutely. What have we gotten from it? And who was that said James Clyburn is FBA? And look how he been acting, a whole donkey. Democrats, whole donkey. His whole political career ain't done nothing for Black Americans at all, but yet we want to keep pointing the finger at everybody else, and we should point fingers at everybody else. But I'm saying when we keep on, it's like, what about Israel, right? Well, what about the non-Black Americans? It's like, okay, but what about the Black Americans? James Clyburn been in there since what, the 80s, the early 80s, and ain't did nothing for non-Negro, but yet, I don't know. And if he wanted to run again, I'm not sure if he is. I kind of heard maybe he wasn't, but if he wanted to, he'd be back up in there doing more of nothing for Black Americans.
And why would he be back up there in there, Demetra? What is the main reason in South Carolina he would be easily to get reelected?
Well, there's a lot of Black voters in South Carolina, and I don't know. He's the one that really put Joe Biden back in the game after he was disqualified. So,
right. You want to know why? He gerrymandered his own district. That is why he gerrymandered his own district with Republican help. As long as his district wasn't affected by the gerrymandering, he had no problem backstabbing other Democratic districts. So that is the problem. See, and again, a lot of people don't know how this redistricting type stuff works. When you give the politician the power to redistrict his own district, they are going to make it to where they cannot be beaten. And that's how he stays in office.
And he's like, what, 83, 84 or something like that? Yeah, he up there, The Kwanya says, to your question, the current Proposition 50 situation that showed up where people organizations bust up from Isaac Bryan District for the photo op. And please note, I'm real one from San Francisco, born in the 70s. Hey, I was born in Berkeley in the 70s too. 1971 to be exact. Born in Northern California, raised in Southern California. So yeah, I mean, whether they did that or not, but the question should be for Isaac Bryan. Why won't you bust them to vote for something that's going to be beneficial to them? Why? I mean, we know it's the rhetorical question, but I'm saying we know that the Democrats use the Black vote, give Black symbolism, as Donovan just said, the fish fries and all that other stuff, and they actually take those votes and do for everybody else. So that doesn't surprise me if he did that. But why is Isaac Bryan even in office to continue with the shenanigans? That's the question we have to answer. You know what? And he'll be back in there again and again and again and again because he's a great pretender at, appearing that he's really doing something. Listen, I've been studying Isaac Bryan for a minute, and he a sucker. He a sucker for sure. He'll talk about how he a black man and all black people, this black, repping the late great Nipsey Hussle and all that other stuff. But I don't know if Nipsey would applaud any of the things that he's doing now. I don't know.
Now that they've got that bill, he's going to be in there for a while. He gerrymandered his own districts. Now they can gerrymander their own districts.
Easy E in the building. Where have you been? I've been taking roll, and I'm like, not here. He's not here. Well, I'm glad to see you here, though. First class citizens, thank you so much for that love and appreciation. Let's not forget the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities are as contributors. Yeah, they have been the sweetheart, if you will, of the Black community. When I say that, I mean, I'm not saying that, but they've kind of been looked at as that, right? The sweethearts, they are they tell everybody what to do. In a sense, they're the talented 10th. The ones that's supposed to go out of the community and come back and teach the rest of us ignorant people, the 90%. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying a theory. The 90%, but they didn't do that. But they have been held up as the intellect and the whatever, the upper echelon of the Black community. And within the last couple of years or so, a lot more that are not the boule have been waking up and saying, Roland Martins and all of them, which is why he has a fit a lot, right? Because a lot more Black Americans or Black people in general, I would say, aren't listening to him like they used to, because he used to be considered, the ultimate disseminator of information to the Black community. So, yeah. But thank you for that, African Native. Thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for the contribution as always. Pop, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well. Brother James says, we've been talking about jobs and justice. The March on Washington was about jobs and justice. The 20th year anniversary of the cry is jobs and justice. We're now in 2025. The cry is still the same. Yes, and that came from, I think it was a 2010, 2008, give or take. The Covenant. With Tavis Smiley, he used to have those annual meetings and have all the, Black intellect, including that of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan there. And he said that to the panel that was there. It was like, Obama was in office and they're talking about, we need jobs and justice. And Farrakhan broke it down. It's like, we've been saying that for forever. And like, when are we going to stop and actually just do for self, right? So absolutely. Love and peace. How you doing? Says they better not start that trans stuff. I could do gay, but the trans are annoying. And what's so funny is that Dave Chappelle said that. Of course, he got into it with the trans community. I guess they took issue with him, one of his stand-ups, and he basically said everybody else in the LGBTQ IA plus whatever it is faction, if you will, they cool. He said, but it's that T. He said it's that T that messes up the rotation, not just for the LGBTQ, but for everybody. The T can't just go and just sit down. Sit down. It's like, they wanted to demonize him and cancel him and all this other stuff here. And then they wanted him to have a conversation. And they said, you come have a conversation. And Dave Chappelle says, first of all, you will not summons me nowhere. You don't get to summons me. Who you talking to? Like, I'ma just come to you. He says, I don't think so. And he stood 10 toes down on that. And he also agreed. Let me shut up before I get in trouble. Because, I got up early and I went to the gym and everything today. So my brain just going, my mouth is going to be a lot faster than my brain. JJ, he says, preachers like Richard Pryor and which way is up. And car wash. You got to believe in something.
No, remember the thing I put up all the time. I mean, it was prophetic that he said that. Remember what he said in Which Way Is Up, you guys? That ain't none of your concern. That's for the Mexican and white folks. Came true.
Exactly. Let's see. Who else do I see on here that I have not seen? Just want to make sure. Jacoby, how you doing? Says, good evening, everyone. Just came in. So they gerrymandered up here in Portland, Oregon. And if you are a different party, you don't have representation. If Democrats believe in democracy, it would be balanced. Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, none of them believe in democracy. It's a cry, right? Oh, democracy. But none of them believe in democracy. That's something that they sell the American people. You need to keep fighting. And fight for democracy. It's like, well, if I have democracy, And I already have it. Why do I got to fight to keep it? Who's trying to take it? See, they know we're not going to stop and ask those questions. If it's all right, I got to fight for what's mine. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in regards to Kanye, when, them folks was, on his back and stuff. And he said, and Kanye didn't like it. He says, if was it ever really yours if they could take it? When they took all his money, said, was it ever really yours? So if democracy is ours already, and they say it is, why we got to keep fighting for it? Who's trying to take it and why? Now, we know, of course, democracy really doesn't exist, especially for us as Black people here in America. We know that doesn't exist because democracy means you have a say-so. And the American people right now is becoming very clear with no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, you don't have a say-so, which is why they come up with the no kings, the regime and all that, because, Trump and them are like, I have all the say-so. And yeah, that whole little MAGA thing it's crashing and burning. Very interesting. Very interesting. Sister Shirley says, my daughter had some blood work done and the doctor asked her if she had a Jewish lineage. I mean, if y'all from the plantation, it's very well that y'all might have some Jewish lineage. Where's my book? I don't have it because I was going to read it the other night, but I fell asleep. Secret relationship between Blacks and Jews. Part 2 talks about, the actual plantation and Blacks, the relationship between us. And it's been proven that they delved in slave ownership a lot. So it's very plausible that there's some Jewish blood running through her veins. Gerald, how you doing? It says Black is FBA. Okay. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? And Black Roger says if Jamaican can be Jamaicans and Haitians can be Haitians and etc., then we can be FBA. Y'all could be FBA. I'm Black American. FBA, Foundation of Black American, that term came along. It really became a thing. I've heard the term before from Dr. Claude Anderson, but it became as y'all say, lineage. I don't know, a couple years ago. I didn't call myself FBA. Donovan didn't call himself FBA. Y'all didn't call yourself FBA until, it became a thing, right? And there's no shade to that, but you could call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. I've always called myself a Black woman here in America. I know I'm Black American. I've been knowing I was Black American, right? So I don't need somebody or a group or whatever to tell me that. I already know that. Yes, Haitians can be Haitians. Well, and why can't we be Black America? Black Americans? Who said we can't be that? Who has said that Black Americans with lineage, to the plantation, who says we can't be that? Nobody's ever told me I can't be that. Now, I get the whole delineation thing, but again, delineation ain't new. We've been told to delineate decades ago. But again, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. It's needed, but this ain't new thought processes. None of this is new. That may be new to y'all, but this is not new. Like I said, I don't call myself FBA because I don't like what it has turned into. And Donna, like I said, to tell you, and I hate to keep saying this, but I've never aligned myself with no groups. Never. Even in high school, like I did things with groups, but I wasn't,
Not true. I'm gonna have to pull your coat on that. Demetra is at a United States Air Force Base NCO club, and she's hanging out with the Marines. So you do not sit with groups.
What is that? The welcoming committee. Ow. How y'all doing? Marjorie, how you doing? Says no, she's off the grid. You talking about Maxine Waters? Is that what you talking about? And she going up yonder. Ursa, how you doing? It said it gives to the most populous population. It says which are the Latinos, so it means it helps them. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Let me skip down a little bit because I see I'm behind. Sorry. Jennifer, how you doing? Says Donovan thinks he's so smart, but he's not. Oh, well. Where's the litmus test to that?
Yeah, what's the litmus test? Demetra, I'm just an educated fool. That's what I call myself. I'm just an educated fool. 12 degrees, different subjects. I'm just an educated fool.
Stupid pilot, you stupid. I mean, this man got 12 degrees. 12 degrees, been a pilot, 16 tours of duty, retired after 24 years in the Air Force, okay? Now, no shade to everybody else in the other branches, okay? Because I know how touchy that subject is. But he's stupid. When he say he's not so smart. Smart is subjective. I mean, who's smart? How do you know? You know? I don't know. We all dumb to somebody. Brogu, how you doing? Says no Africans are not black. Just like they said, we are not African. As Black Americans, we need to gatekeep everything, and that includes our identity. I agree. I mean, but there's a lot of, Black people in America that don't want to be called Black. Y'all know I get somebody say that to me on one of these platforms once a week. We're not Black. Well, then what are we? So it's like, do we even know at this point? That's all I'm saying. Easy says, come on, D. I bet you can count these zeros. Yes, I can. I can do that kind of stuff now, but but putting an alphabets together with animals and fruits and vegetables. Albie Chill says, I've heard Africans say they're Black, but I've heard those from Caribbean say they aren't Black. Yeah, so I've heard all of that. I've heard people from the Caribbean say they're not Black. I've heard them say they are Black. I know a bunch of Puerto Ricans who say they Black. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I just know what I am most of the time. Most of the time. Joey says, it is what it is. Whose side you're on, your people or cake. So I don't even know what that means. The whole cake soap thing. Jersey says, I was good and math and got straight A's in algebra. You go.
I needed him to sit in front of me in class. Trust me, I wasn't above looking over his shoulder or two.
Yeah, right. And Gerald T points out, whose side are you on? Your people or okay, so I'm on my side with my people. And I'm on the side of God. Whatever we doing as far as righteousness is concerned, where God is pleased, what we doing the will of God, that's the side I'm on. Because either side that I'm on, they may not be doing the will of God. Do I want to align myself with people like that? See, as I always say, and I don't care. I always say you got to be more than just Black, right? So speaking of a Black American, we got to be more than just Black. Okay, you Black, but what are you doing to with your Blackness to improve Black Americans? Or wherever you from, what are you doing with that? Listen, you ain't gonna tell me. Like I said, I've been Black for 54 years. I'm gonna be there for 50 more years, 4 more years, God willing, right? So I know who I am, but I'm not gonna get together with all these new trains of thoughts and all this other stuff because somebody say that I've never been no follower. Never. I was not raised to be no follower. So as far as what side am I on? If you're on the side of righteousness, doing the will of God, that's the side that I'm on. But Demetra K, I don't have time to be getting into more division and more divides with this, that, and the other. I don't have that kind of time. I never have and I never will. Because see, I want to move the ball forward for us as Black Americans. That has always been a battle cry. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that. He says, yes, we love our brothers and sisters on the continent, but we got to make sure that Black Americans have what we need. But see, I'm not new to that. Y'all new to that. And so y'all talking about the side that you on or whatever. Okay, great. You pick a side. Now what you gonna do? See, y'all talking about gatekeeping stuff. Y'all argue about stuff y'all haven't figured out how to gatekeep, right? Now some tell me if you study history, a lot of that was taken from us. It was against our will. But yeah, we should gatekeep stuff. Including like this little whole hip hop argument that I'm kind of glad has gone away because to me it was nonsensical. We arguing about who started hip hop. Yeah, we know as Black Americans that belongs to us, but we don't own a pink slip to it because we didn't gatekeep it. All we need is for one of them people to give us a nice big fat check, and then we go tap dancing, go singing, and some of that stuff. Why are we proud to own it? See, if we talking about the stuff that was probably early 2000s back, yeah, let's be proud of that. But that stuff they got going on now, the stuff that they doing, I don't want to have no ownership of that. But they gave us some nice little checks with a bunch of zeros. Like you say, easy, I can count those. Bunch of zeros, and we are saying and doing all kind of things that are degrading to us as Black people. And we fighting on that. Why? See, I'm a why person. I want to know why. Why you want me? I don't have my book here.
Wait, is this an episode of Crimson Tide? I'm Gene Hackman and you're Denzel Washington, where I'm telling you this is how it's going to be, and you're like, you want to know why. You have to know why.
Why? You know what I mean? Like I said, ain't nobody going to tell me that I'm not Black American. I've been that all my life. I got more knowledge of self than most people, just simply due to my upbringing, okay? If you know, you know. I ain't got time today, but I know who I am. I don't need to align myself with a whole bunch of ideologies to define myself as Black American. I've always known I was that. Some of y'all, unfortunately, are learning that. And instead of channeling it to Black Americans, y'all want to throw rocks at everybody else. How do y'all pay so much attention to somebody that's insignificant to you? I don't pay attention to things that are insignificant to me. I pay attention to things that are positive or whatever it is, but I don't focus on and I'm not saying they are, but what I deem to be inferior. Because if you really I say this about white supremacy, they deem that Black Americans or anybody outside of them are inferior. Why they focus so much on the inferior if they are superior? Superior beings don't focus on the peons per se. They focus on them because they all that in a bag of chips. Now, we know white supremacy ain't, because it's a false idea. But again, I'll let y'all do what you want to do with that. Let's see. Let me skip down to who I have not seen. I got you. Let's see. Who have Papa Nally? How you doing? Says catfish nuggets. Okay. Is that what they got going on there? Yeah, Jerry says stop sloganizing Jim Clyburn. He got caught up. LG, how you doing? Says then say no reparation checks for you. Yeah, I mean, we know who the reparation checks in America are for. They supposed to be for Black Americans who are descendants of slavery, right? Everybody else got to go to where they at or from and go get their money, right?
But we were enslaved, and I live here. But my people were enslaved in Jamaica. My people were enslaved in Ethiopia. I should be able to get a check here.
No, you shouldn't be able to get a check here, because that didn't the horror, and it's a horror. Hey, one who cares? The horror didn't happen over here to y'all. People, it happened over there. So you get the Brits or whatever it is to write y'all a check, right? Kenya, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? Thank you once again, First Class Citizens. First fish fry Jim Crow, loving Clyde never disappoints. Yeah, he ain't gonna disappoint, gonna show up to give more of nothing. King Shaw, he says, what happened to Ayanna Press? Right. Reparations talk. She hasn't said nothing about reparations since last year, because she, says, let me go on and say something to Black Americans. And then she ran off and tried to bum rush into a ICE detention center.
Real quick, how many of you guys heard the newly elected mayor of New York? He was, and I guess in his victory speech, he's been going around and he's saying that New York City was built by immigrants. Do you see how these people come here and they change the narrative? How could New York City be built by immigrants when the infrastructure of New York City and most of this country was built by the time most of these people showed up here? But this is what they do to eradicate what we've done. How many of you guys know also the history? How many cities and towns, Black neighborhoods are under freeways or buried under rivers and all kinds of things that goes on? See, they want to bury our history. And this is what the Democratic and the Republican Party and white supremacy does. As long as you think you've never done anything, you won't do anything.
Yeah, immigrants did not build New York City. Now they have contributed, but as far as it wouldn't exist without them, it's like, yeah, okay, But
do you see how they keep trying to change the narrative? Immigrants built this country. No, you didn't. It was Negroes.
But you know what the problem that I have, Donovan, is we know we've built it, but we ain't built nothing else since. So, well,
let me push back on you. We did build other things, but they bombed us out of existence and all that. Every time we build, they attack us.
Since then. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I hear what you're saying. I'm not trying to be a negative or whatever, but I'm just saying, okay, great. Now we use this on somebody, Donovan and I used to, do a rope-a-dope on people running for office. And to me, it's like the Al Bundy syndrome. When he was playing for Polk High, that was Al Bundy's claim to fame. Oh, when I was at Polk High, right? Polk High is like, man, you've been out of high school 99,000 years. What have you done since? Right? So
Wait. And by the way, Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns in a game. And remember, the job he worked was the same job he had when he was in high school.
A shoe salesman. So yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, I'm not stupid sometimes, you know. I know the contributions of Black Americans in this country, but I like to talk about what we about to be doing next. I don't want to be Al Bundy of people, you know. Oh, that was a good year. Yeah, let's talk about what we finna do. Yeah, I said finna. What we finna do. What are we getting ready to do now? That's what we need to be talking about. Brother James says, I say when democracy and whose democracy? He says, I say what democracy and whose democracy? Well, it sure ain't for us. All right, IBCC, how you doing? Says internet blowing up, Clinton and Trump very close. Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a second because, boy, I tell ya. Lene, how you doing? Says not all trans people are like that. It usually the non-Black trans individuals who are causing problems. Yeah, no, it's not all of them like that. I don't never want to deal in absolutes. It's not all of them. But I don't know. It seems like they sure get a lot of attention, you know, for things that, I don't know. Most people just like, I don't want them. I'm trans and I'm not trying to be disrespectful in the bathroom with me. If you biologically a man, I'm a woman, I don't necessarily want you to know that, right? If I can't tell, okay, whatever. But you coming in there dangling, swinging all up in the damn locker room, I have a problem with that. Just like I think a man would have a problem with a woman, you know, saying whatever she is, going to the locker room. Well, I hope they would with her, you know, dropping down and getting the eagle on in there.
Right, but think about what you just said in that policy. Why is the Democratic Party pushing that policy when a majority of Democrat females are probably against that issue of a man going into the bathroom? I mean, to me, it's common sense.
See, that's what I was saying too the other day, and I'm just reading your comments. I know I'm so behind. Y'all crazy. The other day about supporting LGBTQ people. I support LGBTQ people. I don't support the agenda. Okay, I think those are two different things. I don't support that, you know, because there is an agenda. You know, why are we, like I said, to me, it's nonsense. Why are we even having a conversation about trans people being able to go into different bathrooms and all that? Like I said, if I can't tell you passing, okay, I'm not even looking at you like that in the bathroom or the locker room anyway. But if you coming in there and you obviously got your man parts all over the ladies' locker room, yeah, I'm a feel a way about that. And I'm gonna really feel a way that you in trying to force that on me. Like, what's the big deal? Wham, wham, wham. I'm gonna feel a way about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I think you were here, Dimitri. Remember here in the California prison system, there was a trans prisoner, and they had housed him with the female prisoners, and there was a big issue of where to put this person because it was a trans person that didn't fully transform. So they housed him with the women, and the women had a problem with it. So he had to be in, I guess, isolation, and he protested to being put in isolation, but you couldn't put him with the men. It was just a big mess. But like Dave Chappelle said, this is where all the problems come. It's the T people.
Most of them, yeah. And then one of them, yeah, they got some people knocked up too.
Yeah, there was one where they had knocked a lot of women in. Well, not a lot. A few women ended up pregnant.
You're not trans no more. What? Marjorie says FBA were mixed with the blood of the slavers who enslaved us. Foundational means we are the foundation of the slavery era in America. We need reparations, which were promised after Reconstruction. I totally agree with you. There's no arguments at all with that. Totally. Let's see. And dear self, how you doing? Just got to skip down a little bit because I didn't realize how far behind I am. I do see all your comments. I want to acknowledge everybody who I haven't seen. Y'all, when I get to running my mouth, it's because I'm fatigued. Like I said, I've been going to the gym every day and all of that. Mission Visions, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope that you are doing well today. I'm gonna get to the bottom, and then I guess we could probably talk about something else. Christian, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. MC4 Live, what's going on? Says hallelujah, Sister Demetra. And I don't even know what that's to because we so far behind now. Ursa, he says, I'm 63. I've worked helping diaspora immigrants, and then they turn around and didn't return nothing. I'm not just black. My ancestors built this country. These immigrants have used us. Well, you know, sometimes we let people use us unintentionally and intentionally. So I think our heart was in the right place. But then after a while, we've been told for a long time, stop doing that, right? Help yourself, help your community. First law of nature, self-preservation, the first law of nature, this, that, and the other. And no. Even to the way we vote, we still vote overwhelmingly for the Democrats, who overwhelmingly help everybody else but Black Americans. So some of that we got to ourselves, right? You got to sometimes kick your own ass.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up real quick. A real quick question for you. If Kamala runs for president, here's a woman that told you specifically she wasn't going to do nothing for Black people, and look at the number of Black people that voted for her anyway.
Mundo, he says, basically, Mitra says she passed the baby doll test. Y'all the fools. I never said that I passed the baby doll test. And I'm not even quite sure how to take that. One thing I do not do is engage in colorism at all, to any degree at all. I don't. I have a very dark-skinned, very chocolate dark-skinned daughter who has been on the back end of a lot of colorism, right? And I thank God she got a dope-ass mama like me that told her, hey, they want to be your color, right? So that just rolled off of her back, whatever the case is. But I don't engage in colorism at all. That I never have, and I never will. So I've never said I passed no baby doll test or whatever the case is. And I would venture to say, if you put a baby doll up to me, it probably would not pass, right? But I did not ask to be born the color that I am born. See, that's the foolishness that y'all get into as well. You don't look Black, or you don't look Black. Come in all shades and colors. Adam Clayton Powell Jr. says we got it from chalk to chocolate, baby, right? So we need to unlearn some things in our community, because you don't look this color. Oh, you must be something, this, that, the other. We all, listen, if anybody's foundational, it's me. Okay, it's me. So yeah, I don't engage in that colorism foolishness. I'll let y'all do all of that. When I see y'all do it, I keep it pushing, because that ain't my cup of tea. Dear Self says, but Demetra, it isn't an ideology being FBA. It's our lineage that is based on our foundation. Without the clear separation, we're going to keep having these American, Black, and others take. He says what we fought for. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell y'all what to engage in. Like I said, I know who I am. I'm Black American, and I understand all of that. And as I said before, and I don't want to keep repeating it, but delineation is not nothing new. Okay, we've been asked to do that. Unfortunately, some people just started listening recently. Dr. Claude Anderson has been talking about it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been talking about it. The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan has been talking about it. My daddy been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about it. So to some people, it's a new conversation. And you get the conversation when you get the conversation. But yeah, I get that, but I'm more interested in, like I said, in having a conversation of what we can do. That's what we've been asked to do. What can we do amongst ourselves? With all the money we have in our community, nobody's making us give 97% of that away. Nobody. Papa Smurf, Santa Claus, nobody is making us give that away. We're doing that. So when are we going to start having those conversations of like bump everything outside of us right now? Let's figure out how we build what we have, right? Where's our, just hip hop keeps coming to my mind. Where's our record executive? Now, I'm not stupid. I know what has happened when some of our people have tried to make, independent record companies and things. I know about all of that. But why don't we start having those conversations now? Because at the end of the day, we fighting over what white folks is allowing us to have. They done took our stuff, as they usually do, and they give it back to us in little bitty crumbs, and then we fight over that while they got the king's ransom off of our talents. So when are we going to start talking about building our own stuff? Like, what makes me mad too? I don't know how mad it makes me, but I kind of like raise an eyebrow when I see Negroes, okay? Black Americans, FBAs, whine and cry and bitch. That's probably one of the only times I say that, okay? About what these white folks are doing in their own movie studios when they hire Cynthia Erivo and this person and that person. Oh, they need to be a Black American. Then why aren't the Black American can get a studio and make Black American art. Y'all crying about what white folks is doing with they white ass money in they white ass studios, and y'all going get your own studios and make your own movie. Hell, there's been a lot of people who made a movie off of an iPhone and they've done wonderful things, right? Spike Lee, I went and I saw him in person, right? And he talked about how he started making movies on a little movie camera that was given to a friend of his who she didn't want it, so he got it, and the rest is history. So that's what I'm saying. I don't care about what everybody else is doing in their community. Yes, they care about what we're doing, but I care about us building in our community so we can stop talking about what everybody else is doing and trying to do to us. I don't give a damn what my neighbors are doing right now at this very moment. I don't give a damn what those people are doing at this very moment. I give a damn what I'm doing in my house. See, that's the conversation I want to have. That's why, like I said, when I see it, it's just like, golly, if the enemy is involved in this and something tells me that the enemy is the oppressor, it works every time. They throw us a bone. Oh, yeah, you know, because when we chase that bone, we don't focus on what we need to be focusing on. Y'all know the greatest threat to America is what? Is Black unity. And the minute they see us doing it, here comes some BS. See, I really want to curse, Donovan, but I'm not. You know, back during the conscious movement, during music. I ain't talking about the 60s when we was black and proud. I'm talking about during the 90s, right? The late 80s, the 90s, when we was, you know, wearing medallions and all kinds of stuff. We got rid of the gold chains. We was conscious and all that other stuff. And the powers that be, the oppressor said, oh, hell no. I can't have Black youth thinking that they Black and they should be proud and they just, we need to bring in the degradation. And we know what happened. They do it every time. So now in 2025, 23, 24, 21, you know, RIP to Kevin Samuels, you bring in the Black man and the Black woman. We always kind of had an issue. It's not nothing new, but it seemed like it got heightened, right? So I thought, well, was Black men and women really talking about doing a damn thing? Because it just seems like it was just, you couldn't escape it. And it seemed like we as Black people, especially Black Americans, are arguing about something new every other week. And it's like we supposed to be so smart, and damn it, we are, okay? Because a Black American woman built that, right? We smart, but we're not smart enough to not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. We fall for it every time.
The Prince of Paraphernalia says, we need Tyler Perry to stop making that moist shit, make pro-Black positive stuff. I agree with you on that, but Dimitri, remember when there was a great movie that came out, it was called The Birth of a Nation. How many Black people really went and supported that movie?
I was probably one of them, right? I know I went to see it. I like Nate Parker. Of course, there was a campaign done on him, and unfortunately, a lot of Black women, they signed up to hate on the brother. Oh, he raped a white woman. But he was acquitted of that. But they couldn't let it go. Now, we know that was by design, Donovan. They couldn't have it because, listen, Tyler Perry made his money off of us, and he gonna keep making his money off of us because us won't stop watching it. Stop watching Tyler Perry's filth. And then Tyler Perry will probably make something else. Ice Cube talked about this. He said he wanted to make, I think it was Mansa Musa or something like that. He says, but I know y'all ain't gonna show up. I know that you guys will not show up about a movie, especially nowadays. Lord have mercy, just caught what I said. But you won't show up about a movie about Mansa Musa. You won't. But let Tyler Perry talk about he got Medea twerking, then Negroes are gonna show up. So we don't demand more of them. That's why. Like, at some point in time, we got to just stop and think and say, what role do I play in the destruction of my people? When are we going to have that conversation? See, I like showing up the conversation like that, but I'm not going to show up the conversation about they ain't doing this, they ain't doing that. Man, Anybody that know me, be like, don't call Demetri with no foolishness. If you're not calling me about solutions, do not ring my phone because I will not answer again. So let's talk about how we up you mighty nation. I know what I said, people gonna get mad at that. Up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. When we talking about that, then I'm there. But I just certain things I'm not gonna do. I don't have the wherewithal to do it. Easy says, do you remember Tony Brown's journal? Yes, I do. Says, I wish this brother was still alive. Yeah, he was talking about some things, right? Like some real, some stuff that made us think. Now you got a bunch of Negroes and all kind of people on podcasts. Well, what do you think about Megan Thee Stallion? And now she's again, and the black feminists and black men act. It's just like.
Well, she is making Klay Thompson, a simp, and his game has gone down since he's been with her. So I guess.
Boy, I know you joking, right? Okay, because you see, I'm sweating. Like, I'm not a fan of Megan Thee Stallion, but for me, I've heard that whole conversation. Not really trying to rehash it, but I've heard that. I want to get back to where we stop talking under the. Listen, I know that's going, because Megan Thee Stallion talk up under her own clothes, but to Klay. His point, y'all know that's my girlfriend. Okay, we colleagues to some degree. Where is the respect, right? But then I guess Megan, I don't know. For me, I like to vibrate higher. I try to anyway. I said vibrate higher. Okay, so therefore, so when people call me about silliness, I'm like, man, get the hell off my phone. Okay. Get the hell off my phone. I mean that with all love and sincerity. Get the hell off my phone. Okay. Roach, how you doing? Says, I addressed Mondani's comment as soon as and I think your comment cut off. Brother Dearness, he says, absolutely. If white supremacy are superior, why give a second thought to those inferior? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't talk about things that's beneath me. Right? I don't. I'm not interested. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? Chris, how you doing? He says, yep, Lake Lanier in Georgia and many other places throughout the USA. Yeah, we built all those things. I listen, I talk about those places a lot, right? But can we get back to that? Sure. I know we building some things here and there, but let's really get back to that. We get back to that by not focusing on the they throw a bone and we just go running after it. And then we talk about it for 14 weeks, right? I hear a lot. We say a lot, oh, we distracted. Oh, they just trying to distract us. It's like, well, they know they could do that, So, yeah. Beverly White, how you doing? Says, why keep voting for Democrats when they do nothing for black people? That is the $14,000,000,000 question. Easy says, Mondani trying to get street cred. Yeah. Many. He says, I'm sorry, Mind the River, and I'll jack your name up because they all squash together. How you doing? Deanna says, right, Donovan, it's a mind game. Keep pushing a narrative so much and often until the masses accept what isn't true. Yes, and we know that to be what, Donovan?
That's it.
Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah, Mockingbird, yeah. Mockingbird, CIA. Mm-hmm.
In a sense, MK Ultra. Right? Well,
they got everybody on weed and it's all legal and everybody, people, you cannot smoke weed in public, but yet people are doing it. Then they get caught up in these things when the cops address them. Tell your young children or your young adult children that you cannot smoke weed in public. If it was legal, go up to a police officer with the weed cigarette in your hand and smoke it in front of them and see what happens. A lot of these young people are catching cases because they're ignorant.
Yeah, don't smoke weed. I mean, yeah, you could drive down the street and it's like, damn, where that's coming from? Somebody driving is. Facts and feelings, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says peace and love, family. The black people who voted for this mayor will regret it. Why this major culture is anti-black. He says his friends, family, all practice anti-black hatred is his culture. Yeah, well, it remains to be seen. But like I said, make him a one-time mayor like you did of Mayor Eric Adams, and he's going to Israel now. But yeah, make him a one-time mayor. That's what you do. Don't leave them up in there, indefinitely. Dear Self says, I'm from New York City and I don't know any Black American that voted for that red. What? Says, so that is why we have to have a name that specifically identifies us because of ish like this Lion A statement. Well, I've actually seen quite a few Black Americans. I got a video coming out next week from New York saying, okay, what about us? Don't forget about us, right? So it'll come out. Y'all see it. Let's see who else. Don't Believe Media says, who's checking for pronouns at the bathroom door? I'm not. I'm like I said, if you passing up in there, great. I like I said, I ain't focus on you anyway like that in the bathroom. But like I said, if you come in there and stuff is hitting wall to wall, swinging and dangling, then yeah. That's all I'm saying. Ooh, I'm so behind these comments. So Glow, how you doing? So the bathroom policy is wild, but they want to destroy the age of consent. It says they want to call adults sleeping with minors a life experience. Yeah, you know who doing that? It's them people up in Washington. They, okay, them folks, they like to, I'm telling you, man, I was having a conversation the other day. I'm like, see, when I hear this kind of stuff, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. It's like they just saying the quiet part out loud. You got a lot of these people in Washington, these senators. Wow. I mean, even Megyn Kelly, she a whole white woman talking about, well, was it really pedophilia? I mean, he was into the barely legal girls. It's like
political theater. Do you see how they flip and they flop and they flop and they flip? It's just, I
don't think it's political theater though. I think that they speaking that out loud, right? Like, what? It's just a little 15-year-old.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about that? It is alleged. I don't know the super duper facts about it, but in the report that I saw, it was Donald Trump that told on Jeffrey Epstein that actually started the whole investigation.
You believe that?
Well, what he's saying was, I know what I read in there was like basically Trump was saying Epstein is taking the young girls from his mansion, Mar-a-Lago, and bringing it over to his spot. But that's what kind of got the thing going, I guess.
They said out of all those thousands of documents, Trump's name is in there more than anybody else, and it ain't good, Donovan. Okay, now I know what Trump said. Oh, he's a creepy guy. Was he creepy when you was hanging out with him? And your name is all up and through. These are the emails that his family released. This ain't even the files, right? So he want to, Cash Patel and all of them, the DOJ, FBI, all of them to investigate the Democrats that was in the Epstein files, right? But keeping in mind, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, and all of them said ain't no files. So all of a sudden there's files now. Where these ain't no files come from? See, they think the American. Easy says Mondani's family was kicked out of Africa by Idi Amin and Uganda. What does it say about Mondani and his people? I mean, I don't know. It remains to be seen. I don't live in New York City, so I don't have a dog in the fight per se. Like I said, he's the mayor now. He will be. And if he does or does not do what he says he's going to do, get him out of there, right? That's what I would say. Kevin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He said you late. But I'm actually behind in these comments. Window says, know thyself. It means know thyself. And you said what you said, you Black. That I am. And if I never said it, you could tell by my walk, not my talk, that I'm Black, okay? I ain't one of these people running around here acting Black, okay? Because you can act Black and be Black, but I walk Black as well. So yes. Easy says in 1972, Idi Amin ordered the mass expulsion of Asians, mostly of Indian and Pakistani descent from Uganda. This included families like Mondani, who had lived in East Africa or generations. Yeah, so they say he's Ugandan, but yeah, that's how he's that.
Yeah, but you got to remember, as much as the American propaganda villainizes Idi Amin, the one thing that he did for his people was to expel the Indians, and now the Ugandans control their economy. What they don't tell you, if you haven't done your research on it, is most of the Ugandan economy through the 1960s was controlled by the Indians. The Indians were brought in Uganda to build the railroads, but then they started opening their shops and stuff like that. And the Ugandans never really owned any shops and property. So As bad as Idi Amin is, if you believe he's bad or not, I'm a good friend of his son, Jafar. I talk to him on social media every now and then. But you got to give it to the man. He knew to make his people self-sufficient was to give them the shops and the opportunity to control their economics. And they do that to this very day. That is the one thing I can say Idi Amin did by his people. He did right by his people by letting them control the economics of their own country.
Absolutely one who cares. And that's actually a book title, partial of it, of our brother Phil Scott. Yeah, if you believe what the media said about Idi Amin, man, he was freaked out, right? This is a crazy mofo. The way the American media painted Idi Amin is like, man, they gave him that Shaka Zulu treatment. Remember that docu-series that was like a Booyah of the Week? It was a ongoing, and he just freaking people out. That Shaka Zulu.
Yeah, it made him seem like the most evilest dictator of mankind just ever. Even though Hitler was up there.
Yeah, it's a cannibal and all this other stuff. He was like, and looking back, it's like that was kind of strong. Yes, it's strong. That's kind of strong content to put on TV at the time. So looking back, it's like, why would y'all put such strong content about Shaka Zulu on, I think it was on ABC or something like that? Why would they do that at the time? It was to freak people out, to think black people ain't, they evil savages and stuff like that. But then, of course, when you learn the truth about Shaka Zulu, it's like, man, who the hell wrote this script? So yeah. Let's see.
And real quick, Facts Not Feeling says, in Uganda today, there are Indian schools where black locals can't go. Same thing in South Africa. Again, you could go down to Dominican Republic. You could go down to Haiti. You could go down to all these other people. These people that have been colonized, they have a colonial mindset. Again, Dimitri and I were in South Africa. How after 35 years of post-apartheid, the white people, 77% of the everything is owned by the 11% of the white people. It's the mindset of these people. White is right, and they deserve this and deserve that. And let's say it right here in the United States. Are there not private schools that black people can't go to because of the affordability? Of course there is.
Right. Lovely. How you doing? Says right, Donovan. Kamala says she is not going to do anything for us. Black folks still voted for her, so that means black folks want nothing. So we need to just move on. Yeah. For lack of better words. I mean, Rich, how you doing? Says conversation to have is right now. Yeah. Like I said, me personally, I don't, there's a lot of things like, I'm not a fan of okra. I'll eat it every once in a while, but I'm not going to keep talking about it. Somebody say, what do you want to eat? I don't know, but I just don't want to eat okra. Okra's so nasty. It's slimy. I don't want to eat okra. Then I say I don't want to eat okra. Man, I ask you, what did you want to eat? It better not be okra. Because okra just, do you want to eat something or not? Yeah, I'm hungry. But see, listen, if you bring me some okra, wouldn't it just be so easier to say what I want to eat? That's what we do. We focus on the things we don't want to eat.
And here's another thing. I tell this to people all the time when they ask about the show and they ask about our co-hosts and things that they see. And I say, in my opinion, I don't do this for us, our generation, our co-hosts, you guys that come on the show every day and we have these great conversations, right? You guys know what's going on. I know what's going on, or we have an idea of what's going on. What we need to be doing is what we learn here, we need to be teaching our grandchildren, because these kids do not have a chance. Do not make the same mistakes our parents made with us. Like, oh, don't worry about that, baby. You just go to the club and have a nice time. I'll take care of the kids and do all this and that. No, we need to educate that younger generation so that they have what Demetra says all the time, knowledge of self.
Got to. Shanette, how you doing? Says, until FBA come together as one, we will always lose. Yeah, and that's been the design for a very long time. Keep them talking about nothing. Focusing on stuff that ain't gonna matter one way or the other. Ursa, you says they believe it's a flex. Okay. African Native says the system has put in black mind that the Democratic Party is the party for blacks. Deconstructing the narrative is a daunting task. Ooh, you said a word. Hey Al, how you doing? Says Donald says smoke weed in front of the police and see what happens. I I wouldn't advise anybody to do that. Herbert, how you doing? Says that's why I stay away from most folks. If you vote for the same people who undermine you repeatedly, you practice the same things in their personal life. Yeah, I would tell y'all, I don't hang out with a whole lot of people. I've been here by myself for almost a week, and I've hung out with nobody. Most people I see is at the gym. Other than that, I'm home. You know, I can hang out with people. I just choose not to do that. I'm safer, amongst my own company, and I have great conversations with myself. I do. Soul Glow says in liberal cities you might get away with smoking weed in public, but in conservative cities that's a big no.
Well, like I said, do it in front of a law enforcement official and see what happens. Even in liberal cities, it's not going to happen. They will get you up, especially if you're a person of color. That's just another notch on their belt to get us in the system.
Yeah, I mean, and some of them be helping to get up in the system. So it's like you can't blame nobody but you, right? Ursula says Trump sent Lady Maxwell to a better prison. Yeah, they said she's like a queen up in there, right? She got a little service dog up in there that she get to pet and play with. She has great food and all kind of stuff. It's a lot. I'll tell you this, Donovan. The MAGA's over. They are imploding. They're mad. They're turning.
Well, remember the Tea Party. The same thing happened to the Tea Party. They morphed into something else.
Yep, sure did. They turning on each other. Trump turning on us. I think somebody said Marjorie Taylor Greene. You crazy pop. Yeah, they fighting with each other. Her daughter talking about if something happened to my mom. They are saying Trump is whistling the signal like she over there type thing, right? But I see a lot of MAGA people saying they're no longer MAGA. They're literally burning and taking off their MAGA hats, and they're now saying we're America first. So they got these America first hats because they've now realized that it's not America first. It's everybody else first. So
yeah, and you guys got to remember, Donald Trump is in his second term. He can't run for office. Do you really think he gives a damn either way it goes? There was a report that just came out this morning where he had to disclose his tax, whatever that disclosure thing is he has to do. And a lot of the businesses that he invested in or did something with is adjacent to the policies that he has put out there. So he's making money off of his very policies that he's put out there. So again, if you want to hide something from the American people, especially the Black people, write it down and put it in a book, and they wouldn't know that unless you actually read it. It wasn't broadcasted on the news that I'm aware of. I read it this morning in an article.
Yes, indeed. Timothy, thank you so much once again for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you for that. He says, I think voting Dems is an insult to Harriet Tubman and to a whole host of people, right? I see a lot of y'all saying y'all like fried okra. I just try to stay away from a lot of fried foods. I'll eat them every once in a while, but fried okra, I guess. I'm too old to just be eating.
Try them glory greens, girl. Try them glory greens out the can.
You get your blood pressure up with them. You get your blood pressure up.
Right. They have okra too. The glory green okra. Yeah, they have those too.
There's a lot of salt in that. I'm too old at this point to be putting any and everything in my body. I've wised up a little bit. Your girl be in the gym, getting it in. I be busting a sweat. I think I be sweating here, running my mouth. Boy, I be at the gym, be lifting weights 4 times a week. I'm trying to get this in my routine. Lifting weights 4 times. Y'all can see I'm getting little muscles. And then walking 4 miles 2 days a week with my 12-pound weight vest on. So I'm really trying to stay here longer. So I can't be eating no fried okra like that. Nah, I do like ice cream every once in a while. But I got you. African Native says okra cleans the belly in our African diet. Yes, I just don't. I'm the texture person. So if I don't know it's in there, kind of, sort of, I'm okay. I can eat it every once in a while, but it's kind of slimy. So I'm a texture person. There's a lot of things I won't eat because of the texture. I get that type thing going on. Herbert says I eat okra in gumbo. There you go. See, there you go. If you don't know it's there, then yeah. Don't believe media says New York City will turn up if he starts telling them what he can't do. People are tired of the lip service. Yeah, I think we there. Brother Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well this fine Sunday afternoon. Tito, yeah, she got a dog. She can play with a dog up in there. You know, they telling on her. She in club fed now, like the cushy.
Yeah, she's in a minimum security prison now. So it's like an open campus. She isn't really locked behind a gate anymore.
Del Monte Green Beans, one of my favorite YouTube names. How you doing today? Hope that you are doing well. Yeah. My daughter likes okra too. She's a strange kid. She'll eat it raw, like type thing. Not me. Brother Sam said, just finished listening to Shador being thrown into a game with 0 reps. With the first in practice, Gabriel got a concussion. Damn. So I don't know what any of that means. Is that good or is that bad?
Well, it's kind of bad because Gabriel was a starting quarterback over Shador, number 2 quarterback over Shador. So now they threw Shador in there, expecting him to do a miracle, I guess, and win the game when you don't get any reps. If you're the third quarterback, even the second one, you get minimum reps. So,
got it. Yeah, y'all can see I be sweating. It's just I sweat, right? I guess I probably should start wearing like all black shirts or whatever the case is. But yeah, you're getting older.
Just wear some tank tops. That way you got to see it.
Nah. Y'all don't want to see the gun show. I always say I'm getting older, not old. Okay. We're obviously every second you're getting older, but you choose how that happens, right? Like 54 years old is not old in the larger scheme of things. Am I gonna wrinkle some? Yes, this just happens, right? There's no shame in my game. I'm not gonna be going like the Kardashians and be come on here one day. How y'all doing? And I'm like this, and I'm not even really trying to smile and just so yeah, life happens, gravity happens, but you have a lot to do with that. Get sleep, right? Sleep, eat right as much as you can. 80-20, eat 80% of the time, good. 20% you can trick off.
Stay active, keep moving. People got to keep moving.
Yeah. One Poppy says, stop putting green beans in Jello, white people. Ooh. Easy says, I don't eat okra because it's synonymous with Oprah. You better stop it. That's what they was calling okra and kale. It's crazy. Yes, Del Monte green beans. I like green beans now. I don't know about them in a can, but yeah, I'm picky. I've always kind of been that way. You take me to a restaurant, I'm going to get the standard stuff that's on there. I'm not getting no frog legs, no alligator backs. I'm not getting none of that stuff. Okay, give me some chicken or fish. Occasional beef, occasional, right? But I don't venture too far off the grid. I'm not adventurous when it comes to food. Weird how that works. Brother James says sweet potatoes, collard greens, kale greens, lima beans, butter beans, catfish, pork, and cornbread. No good for us. That's how to eat to live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That is absolutely true. I used to eat kale a lot when I was a vegan, but then I felt like my stomach hurt, right? And then when I learned that, I was like, yeah, kale, it's hard to digest, greens and all of that stuff. Not says potatoes, depending on where you live, you could eat it, right? If you live in a colder climate. But those things, yeah, we're really not supposed to be eating like that. So, yeah.
Well, you know me and my salads. I will eat a salad in a minute, so.
Pop, when I see you, I swear for God, I'm going to get my good belt. I'm going to get my good belt on. Pow! Well, I just read one of his comments. My Lord. Muendo says, and that just goes to show you people are creatures of comfort. As long as they got their food and their entertainment and their vices, no one is willing to give up their small creature comfort. And that's why you're 100% right. We just we don't want to give up nothing. Yeah, African Native is sweating. It says it's melanin drip. Yeah, I'm a sweater. There's nothing I can do about it. I could work out with all my homies and they'll glisten, right? Me, I'm like, That's why it's hard kind of being a natural too. Because when I work out, my hair is soaking wet. It is like I don't even see my twisty when we get off here. I'm gonna twist my hair up in a whole bunch of little buckwheat little twists. But they be
seaweed. Seaweed.
Yeah, all right. Sweating is a part of life. Magnum, how you doing? Says no alligator backs. I mean, all that stuff people be eating. Don't try it. It tastes like chicken. My theory is if it tastes like chicken, why not just eat chicken? I don't need to be eating all of that. You know, no shade to anybody who does. Ursa, you says you eat salads too. Yeah, I ate a lot of salad. I'm kind of burnt out on them, but I eat salads. I like salads. Problem with salads is you got to put enough protein on there because you're gonna be hungry. And then the salad gonna venture off into French fries.
Yes. Marjorie Lemon says, my birthday is coming up on the 20th. 72 years of looks kind of good. Blessings from the universe. I need to tighten up my facial and fitness routine. Yes, indeed. That is a blessing. And, the funny thing is, for the people that didn't really, if you guys been looking at the celebrities that are like falling down and stuff and being taken out, a lot of these celebrities are being taken out in their early part of their 70s because they didn't take care of themselves. So, when you're that age and you're up there, which is 72 isn't really old in your 70s, but man, like I said, if you burn the candle at both ends, I mean, you definitely will pay the price. So,
yeah. Hey, Mad Dog. And let's see. Well, happy birthday early to you, Marjorie. 72 is a blessing. For me, that is goals. My goal, one of them is to outlive my mother and my grandmother on my father's side. They both passed at 67. And my mom's mom passed at 77. So my goal is to outlive, all of them because it is doable, but definitely 72 years of age. That is a blessing and, privilege that is denied to many. Like Donovan said, especially in today's day and age, we should not be dying early. 72 is still a baby, right? With all the technology and knowledge we have of how to sustain life, we should not be going backwards. But you say, I need to tighten up my facial and fitness routine. Yeah, for me, as far as my face is concerned, I have my moments. But I drink a lot of water. I try to get rest. I take magnesium because, menopause does not allow me to sleep all night. I'll wake up every 30 minutes, without some help, magnesium or whatever. But sleep, water, get some good moisturizers. I use 4 types of moisturizers every time I moisturize my face at once, right? I use Hydro Boost by Neutrogena. I then put on retinol and hyaluronic acid. Then I put some, like, it's called Sympathy for the Skin. I got from Lush. It's like a lotion. I put that on. And then I put on, y'all gonna freak out by the name, but it's called Evil Good. Y'all probably heard of that. It's beef tallow. Put that on. Now it's Evil Good because people think beef is bad but they've actually turned it into good. So put that, and then I'll finish it off depending on what I'm doing with vegetable oil to kind of like seal it all in. But it's really no stress, and just kind of taking it easy. But me personally, I have okay genes because my mom on her deathbed, the nurse said she looks so young. She's 67. So yeah.
Yeah, and another thing is we don't talk about it, especially in the Black community. We don't talk about our health. Atrophy is a real thing. So if you're 45 and older, you need to be hitting those weights because your muscles are going to start shrinking as you're aging because you're not exercising them anymore and stuff like that. And it's very important. Like I said, I have a really bad arthritis, so I have to keep moving, especially in the wintertime. It really affects me. But the atrophy is a real thing. So especially for the fellas, if you're genetically gifted, and a lot of you guys from the back east, you guys were really genetically gifted, meaning you guys have a lot of meat on your bones and stuff, natural. You got to hit those weights or you're going to shrivel up. And that's just something real. And you take and supplement vitamin D. Yeah. And you had to do that, especially for the women too. Muscle shrinkage is real as you get older. It's just a fact.
Osteoporosis as well. That's why you see a lot of people, especially when they get older, they kind of bent over. Because you lose a lot of bone density and your muscles, and that like you said, Donovan, when the older you get, you should be strength training, weight training more so than anything. Cardio is good, but you got to incorporate the weights. Otherwise, you like you said, you shrink and you get frail and things. So, Brother Abdul, how you doing? Says I just don't eat pork, green butter, beans, cornbread, lime, and black eyed peas, cabbage, everything that Black people eat down south. I still eat it today. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, so you said you don't eat pork. I'll tell y'all a story. I thought that I had brought me some ground beef the other day So I was cooking it and I was like, this don't look like ground beef. Maybe I accidentally picked up ground turkey. And I was like, what is this? Right? Because it started to smell like something I've not smelled before. Well, I have smelled it before. So I went and looked at the package. I said, I accidentally bought ground pork. I'm like, I'm not eating that. Right? So I didn't eat it or whatever the case is, but my house smelled like chitlins. And I'm like, it was ground pork. And I like sprayed some perfume all over the house, tried to air the house out of lit incense. I'm like, and people be eating this for real. Now, it wasn't chitlins that I know of, but I was like, hell to the no. I was like, there's no way. I just have to throw it away. It'd just be a waste of money. I'm not going to eat it. But yeah, let me shut up before I say too much. Not easy. I don't be eating no mud bugs. They roaches. Crawfish are roaches. Okay, they from the roach family. So yeah,
but what is your thought on Navy beans?
Oh yeah, I got a whole cabinet full of Navy beans. That's the bean, the best bean that you should be eating per that of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? How to Eat to Live. I got them over there somewhere. But yeah, the Navy bean is the best bean. I have a lot of those. I eat some other beans, but Navy bean, I like Navy beans because there's a lot you could do with it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have me some tomorrow. I'm gonna make me some bean soup with them. So yeah. Got a cabinet full of them. Marjorie says, I don't have a BBL. What? But some people think I do. Ow. Says, laugh out loud and always ask me, is it real? They want to pop it. What? Okay. So you got a ball of collar, huh? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's nice to have it naturally, I can tell people, if you got a little bit of behind and you see people getting BBLs, it's like, you don't know what you're signing up for. Why would you want more of that? You know what I mean? If I don't go walking for a while and I go walking, my lower back be hurting me the next day. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Del Monte Green Bean says, exercise against your own body weight. Yeah, calisthenics. It says, master that first before weights, gain real function strength. Yeah, I've been lifting weights for a very long time. I could do calisthenics, but I don't like doing calisthenics because I'm just lazy. I'd rather just pick up some weights, go to the gym, get it over with, and go home, right? I do some of them. Yeah, I don't drink soda.
I mean, you guys, let's be real about this. You're not trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or Lee Haney out there. You just want to be fit and active.
Yeah, but people died just sitting on the couch, Brother Sam says, Isaiah 65:20, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days, for the child shall die and 100 years old. Yeah, I mean, that's a baby. 100 is still a baby. You think about it, but we are going backwards, and it's just crazy. All the knowledge we got, what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating. People gonna do it anyway. Like I said, I like fried food. I'm not gonna lie to kick it. I just know I can't eat it all the time. And my daughter and I, we don't really eat it much. But when we do decide to go off on a limb, the next day we just like, man, we shouldn't have ate that, so.
But at the time, it was finger licking good.
It was, but for me, I just don't like the way it makes me feel afterwards. But y'all got to remember, I was a vegan for like 7 years, like a staunch vegan before they had impossible meat and all that.
Oh my gosh, she used to take me to, Demetra and her daughter used to take me to these vegan restaurants and things. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I was a bony heifer too then, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh. Don't lose weight like that ever again. Don't do that ever again.
I'm not. I'm gonna keep some weight on it this time. It just stop running from the sun. Vitamin D is free. Yep, absolutely. That's why I like to go walking to get some vitamin D. Yes, indeed.
Yes, and ladies, I know you guys spend a lot of time keeping yourselves up and stuff like that, but is it worth your health? That's what I'm saying. You can do both. You can keep yourself up and still work out at the same time. I mean, and nobody says you gotta go all out at the gym. Maybe you don't like to sweat. I know a lot of women don't like to sweat, but you can still pick those little 2 5-pound weights up and just do that. Just do something.
Yeah, Brother Samuel, and climbing trees at 63. Goals. Those are goals right there. I would love to try to climb a tree. I'm sure that I could. But don't ever stop doing that, right? It's a way to keep active. Brother Samuel yesterday said, did you see that incident in South Carolina players and the officer? I did. He said he lost his job at the school. He should lose his job altogether, and they should charge him with assault. Well, you gonna fight with the players? Like you was a demon, you know? So yeah, let's see, going all the way down to the bottom, acknowledging everybody have not seen, because I know Donovan won't get his piece of chicken. Don't let Donovan lie.
The Prince of Paraphernalia says the 1-3 Atlas has a gang of green Martian women with 2 mouths and 4 breasts heading here. It's over. If that was the case, if it's good for Captain Kirk to get with the green chick or Captain Pike to get with the green chick, it's good for us.
And she's gonna have a line of dudes all around the building trying to get with her too. Bernard says, "You think now?" I guess I don't know. You know, I just work out. You know, I just work out. I've always had a little bit of meat on my bones, except for that one time when I was vegan. It was like, you know,
you were happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I am. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Vanessa says, I love the fruit far away. It says, I love the fruit far away. You know what they say about that low-hanging fruit. What they say about the low-hanging fruit. There's had a lot of things about it, but what particular are you talking about? Brother James says, doctors are not recommending 3 meals a day anymore since the virus came out. Yeah, I can't even eat 3 meals a day, and I'm greedy, right? I tell y'all, D stands for greedy. I'm greedy, and I can't even eat 3 meals a day. If I'm lucky, my first meal will be at 12 because I be, you know, moving around so much during the day. I go to the gym and I'm very active, and I'm like, damn, because right now, especially lifting weights, I'm really trying to like hit my protein. But I can't even eat 3 meals a day at all. It's impossible for me to do. So,
this is a good one. One who cares. A longtime listener. She says, I jump rope at school. Most girls can't jump single rope. I'm trying to get them interested in double dutch. That's what I was about to say. Dimitri, you were a double dutch. You and Amanda were double dutch queens, right?
I still can do double dutch. Shoot. Boy, what can I do? That's the question. What can't you do, Demetra? I've done it all. I can still do it. Kevin says, Demetra, I was a vegan too. I still don't eat meat anymore. I'm not a full vegan anyway. I just, for whatever reason, stopped being vegan. And I entertained going back a couple of times, but it's not good for me. For me personally, I need some protein and things because I wasn't doing vegan right. I lost a lot of weight. I guess I looked all right or whatever, but then your hair started falling out. I only had cavities twice in my life. Once when I had my daughter 32 years ago, and then when I became a vegan, I had a little small one. So what I'm saying all I have to say is you really got to be on top of it because you don't get all of your nutrients. So that's why I kind of decided not to be vegan, but I don't eat a lot. I eat more whole foods than I do junk food and things like that, if that makes any sense. So yeah. Yeah, Mwendo, air quality, stress, all that. You got to be mindful. You have to be, what Down Money says, keep them yams up. Got to, right? You got to do your RDLs. You got to do your squats. You got to do a whole lot of stuff to keep your yams up.
Let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you ladies something. When you guys are in those jeans and you got the high heels on or the heels on with your jeans and you've been going to, the gym, even if you haven't been going to the gym, let me tell you guys, when you guys are looking like, regular, you're not looking like a Megan Thee Stallion type chick and you got those heels on in those jeans, you guys look really, really nice. I mean, but isn't that funny? The simplest way to dress is the most attractive way in some instances.
Yeah, you ain't got to be doing them. But like I said, to each his own or whatever. But, I don't know. Some people might say I don't dress simple. Remember that one time I showed up to the party? I did a barbecue. I thought I was dressed simple. I didn't have on a bunch of nothing. I just had on a shirt and some shorts, some heels.
Yeah, but it was what behind the shorts that was the problem.
That's what my mama gave me. I can't help that. I tell y'all a story. Not too long ago, your girl ventured outside. Okay. Y'all know if y'all see me, I really be having clothes on. I always have clothes on, like I don't be showing skin. But my daughter, God love her. I don't know not to listen to 32-year-olds again. Okay. I was going to go to the movies. Okay. And go outside. And I was going to cover up, which I normally do. She says, What a waste of an ass. I said, whatever do you mean? You always cover it up. If I had ass, I would wear this, that, this. So she put together a little outfit. I was fully covered. Couldn't see no skin or nothing like that. And I went outside. And I had to come back in the house. Okay. I said, yes, I will be putting on.
A lot of strays were behind you, right?
I will be covering up. I mean, not that I was, like I said, I don't be showing skin, but it was a pencil skirt. Now, I was a queen of pencil skirts back in the day, and I had a pencil skirt on and some heels. And now I'm going to be putting on my, my burlap sack. Let's see. LG, how you doing? He says heels kick it up a notch. It sure do. I love a good heel. Greater Achievements, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Oh, no cat suit. Not for me. Okay. I won't even wear a cat suit in the gym. I like a dude when I'm in the gym.
Wait a minute. When we went to the Metro reunion, weren't you in a cat suit?
Hell no.
No. That was the other women. The other women.
I would not be in no cat suit. Okay. Not even in the gym. Like I said, I look like a man in the gym. I'm a baggy sweats, baggy shirt. I took a picture today in the gym. I was like, dang, because I'm losing a little weight, right? Little weight. My shirt was huge, but I'm like, that's okay because I want to be able to live and bend over and all of that without nobody, you don't need to see.
Well, and you got to preserve yourself for when those grandkids come, if they come. So you might be in your 90s, but when they come.
And I'm going to still be in the gym. Ooh. Let me get out of here before I get in trouble. I'm telling y'all all my business. Ain't nothing back there. Ain't nothing to see. Papa says, I can see Demetri some Lululemon yoga pants. I got some yoga pants, right? But they not all the ones that be zhugged all up in your business. And I got to be comfortable. I'm not going to the gym to be cute at all. I got my beanie on or a hat. I'm not trying to be cute. I'm in the gym so I can be cute outside of the gym, right? I'm there to work. So, yeah. Vanessa says, I cover up as well. I don't need nothing following me home. I mean, and if you cute, people see you cute. Hey, how you doing? Whatever. I don't go to the gym for none of that. Raven, how you doing? Says Demetri got legs, legs, hips, and body. That was Candy Burr, some musical she was in. I guess. Delmonte says, sister got the coldest shapes on this planet, but there's more functionality than just looking good. There you go. You ain't got to show it all, right? You only need, as I say, for women, we only got to show that to one man, preferably our husband, right? We ain't got to show all that to every man. Nobody needs to know what you got going on. If you cute, you got a little something, they can see that, without you putting it all out there on Front Street, So yeah, there's more to a woman than her body. And we know y'all men are very visual. Y'all burn a hole through a burlap sack, right? Y'all hone in and be like, yeah, I see what she got going. But we want you to work for it. Okay. We don't want to give it all to you. I just, for me, like when I see older women like my age or so, and I don't want to shame people in how you dress. I think you can be sexy, dress sexy as an older woman, but it's a difference between sexy and trashy. You showed up and all your boobs is all out. You got the skirt.
You got the lunch lady arms and stuff like that.
Mm. You know what? Why, Donovan? Why?
I'm just saying. I'm trying to help them out. You got the lunch lady arms. It's just.
What's a lunch lady arm?
When they got the meat that's hanging right here.
I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you. Because I think you need a woman with some lunch lady arms and hold your butt tight. Just hold you tight at night and give you that good, glow-to-dean loving. See, you ain't had to love and the glow-to-dean in your life. That's what you need.
No, see, that lunch lady arm, that one arm would pin me to the bed until she wakes up.
That's what you need. You need to be pinned to the bed. Okay? You don't know what it's like until you're pinned to the bed. That's right, Greater Achievement by auntie arms. See, Donovan needs some auntie and shit. He needs some grandma arms in his life. Okay. It's time for the grandma arms. Y'all better stop. Live, laugh, love. How you doing? Says attention and validation. Okay. Yeah. Some people dress for attention and validation. I don't think you need to do that. You know, dress for yourself or whatever. But I just always wonder that when I see women my age, it's like, who's the mama? Who's the daughter? You know, you got everything showing but some sense. Infamous, how you doing? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. So anyway, let's get out of here. I just saw we done overstay. I'm not playing it off. Del Monte Green Beans. I'm not. I'm humble. You know, I got what everybody else got. There ain't nothing special back there. Nothing. Nothing at all. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. We'll be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time. I don't know, or y'all know what you see. Donovan, see what you started talking about some flapjack arms. Somebody talking about some beef. Oh, man. Y'all need
well, obviously, a lot of men, we're giving you guys tips of what we see. That's all we're saying. I mean, it's just constructive criticism. That's all.
Can I give y'all?
Go to the gym, ladies. Like I said, you could do it at home and tighten the arms up. When you let the arms go, it becomes a problem.
Can I give y'all some constructive criticism? Can you lift weight on your balls? Because I've seen a few of y'all sit on your balls.
Unfortunately, a lot of women are against that because they like that slap.
Listen, I don't know no woman that says she like all ball. Okay. Anyway, we gonna go before we get in trouble. Bye.